So hi guys, we're now going to discuss a important project you do. It's a project I'm proud of because I sort of devised it myself, and we're going to assess you on this. So we'll talk later about how you're going to shoot it, but everybody will have to shoot this somehow or other. If you can do it from home, I'm happy enough. Otherwise, we're going to have to get you into the college somehow. But anyway, that's a problem for another day, and I'll extend the deadline than I normally would to help you guys out. So here's an old handout. I've got a printed up official brief from the college, which I meant to send, but I'm also going to use this old handout because I think it helps. So the project is called the brief is called the footballer. I'll read it out. So design a footballer who can pick up a ball and kick it, and design a close up of the face of the footballer, and design a background for it, which is a BG. We'd be using the term BG all the time. And here's a little picture of his close-up, which is a close-up that's in profile. Now, the footballer must fit into a 12 field, which is your normal animation paper, well, comfortably inside your animation paper. It's basically the size of an A4 page, with plenty of headspace. So it's a full figure shot. 3/4 of profile. I imagine everybody will be doing profile. Straight on just doesn't work for a pickup. So the footballer can be male, female, it can be animals, it can be aliens, whatever. You can use color. So just to recap on the whole thingamajig of cutouts, you use a light card, you check it with tracing paper to see if there are overlaps in your design and to check on possible positions. You stick down everything. When you've got the character made, you bring him over to the camera in the position you have to shoot him in when he's picking up the ball, because that's the most difficult position, and that's where it has to be queued up. So you have to know where he's standing, and you have to know where the ball is. I'll come to this again, don't panic. And indeed, while you have him in that position, you should rehearse it. You should rehearse him walking in, you should rehearsing I didn't say that. This is the old cutout. He doesn't walk in. But in the new brief, he walks into the scene. So he has to know where to stop. And where he stops, he'll be in the right position to pick up the ball. But like I said, I'll come to this again. And then you mark where these positions are. And it's very good to rehearse the thing. It's really good for timing. This is one of the reasons why I teach cutouts. It's really great for timing. So like I said down here, I'll send this JPEG to you as a JPEG. Stick down everything. You must plan the path of the ball before you shoot and time it. There are 3 distinct movements of the ball, right? So the ball comes in, it's like a lob. You can lob and bounce and come in, I'll show you that. Then after he picks it up, or she picks it up, or it picks it up, could be a robot, it drops down onto the boot a certain way too at its own speed. And then of course when the boot hits the ball, which is very important, it's a hard thing to do. It's one of the reasons why I like this project. Then the ball shoots off like a rocket because it's got more power and energy behind it. So the other final thing I'll say in reading this, and I'll come back to it as we're doing it, is that the footballer must look at the ball either as it comes in landing, or before he picks it up, or it picks it up, or after it kicks it out into the distance. It must be, it's just not some sort of crazy thing that just decides to pick up a ball for no reason. There's got to be some sort of relationship between the two. Okay, so let's just look at the possible backgrounds for this. What about, let's just think, I don't know, a football pitch. And I'll just do this very, very easy. Right, so you've got a flag in a football pitch, so it's all well cool, so it's all blowing away, and you've got crowds. Well, those faces would be a bit too big, wouldn't they? And they're all cheering, and yay, and everybody's having a great time, and there's arms coming up. Yay, and our side is scored, and all this kind of stuff is going on. And there's thousands of them, in some football matches are 40,000, So you're not going to do that, right? Why you're not going to do that? Because, well, you could design a cutout crowd that works, 3 or 4 arms are waving around. But you can't put in a cutout situation anything that really wants to animate. So the flag wants to animate. So you don't want to do that. What you want to do is put a flag up that kind of hangs. No, it's not going to do anything. It might be good then just to do a crowd that's blurred. and kind of, you don't really see the details of their face, but you know they're back there. So you don't care too much about them. Okay, so be careful about that. You know, is anything screaming at you in the background that wants to animate? Well, if it wants to animate, maybe it's not a good idea to do it. Now, if it has to animate, if it's a windy day and that's part of the script, well, you'd probably do this in some sort of special effects, full animation, substitution, or maybe just an overlay of some sort. If the crowd has to cheer because, you know, there's a reason for it, well, you're just going to have to work it out and be clever. So just be careful. Does it want to animate? And of course, the other great thing about a background is, does it compete with the action? So that's a very important thing to think about. So this lighting isn't great. I'm looking to fix it a bit. Okay, this isn't a shoot, so maybe I shouldn't worry too much. Okay, so we'll make our 12 field again, put in our little peg bars, even though we're cut out people and we don't care about peg bars. I don't know, it gives us some orientation. Okay, so we'll design a background. He says trying to get into a comfortable position. You know, maybe we'll put a tree in, you know, why not? Trees are good, we like trees. Okay, so we got a basic tree in there. We've got a rolling hills. They're not interfering with the work. It's a park, maybe. Put in a park bench. They're always good to have in a park. Okay, so maybe a parkway. There's a parkway, a little bit of grass. Grass isn't blowing, nothing going wrong here. What about a cloud? Maybe, you know, clouds aren't a problem really, because if you think of a camera cut, you know, sometimes, you know, 30 seconds is a long time with a camera cut. And a cloud in the sky can give you good relief, and it can also help you with cutouts for the pathway, in this particular case, for the pathway of the ball. So let's just talk about the ball. Like I said, I'll use a coin here for a ball, because why not? So this ball has got to drop in. So you've got to time this. You've got to think about it. You know, what am I going to do here, you know? Does it come in if ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk? Or does it come in as a lob, like a good footballer might pass a ball and just straight it lands perfectly? Does it come in here and roll? And each of those have to be timed, you know, 101, 102, 103. It's roughly 3 seconds. So how many, it's 312s, 36 moves. And of course it's going to drop down fast. So that's like, you know, it's your classic. So it's your classic, you know, you've got your classic moves here, you know. Gets faster as it gets, you know all this, don't you? The ball. Now you can't use these lines obviously on your background, but there's you know, so you're timing it. So I'll put about, what did I say, 36 marks to get it. Funny enough, when you come to shoot it, you'll probably shoot it too fast, but that's okay. And by the way, it doesn't have to be realistic. You know, it can drop down here if you want to, and it can drop down here at lightning speed. If your sense of timing is comic, you know, you're going to do something comic timing. If you're sort of a boring, drizzling person like me who likes Russian films, you know, this film is good. This ball is going to come in and then roll for a long time and then settle down. So, you know, different strokes for different folks. There isn't a right way of timing. And again, I know your lecturers will give out to you about that. In actual fact, when you're an animator on your own, you know, you've got your own style. Who knows? Who knows what your timing's going to be like? Okay, so it rolls in. And look, you wanted to stop there. So you're going to mark that. Now, this will be outside the frame of the camera. This is the frame of the camera. So you're going to go ball. This is what I would do if I was doing this professionally. So now I know my character must bend down and pick up this ball. So I'd sort of draw him in the bending position. I'm going to draw a real character here. But I'm not going to draw. I'm just going to basically draw a figure. So that ball, you've got to be careful it's not going to fall over. He looks a little unbalanced. So he's not too good. But anyway, we'll keep him. So there's the ball. So this must be, we'll say, the right foot of the man. is here. So, all right, man. Now that's what I would do. I mean, you know, maybe I'm too exact, but I did do this professionally once, and you can't afford to make mistakes professionally. So, okay, there's our little guy. Of course, that's him in the bending position, and that's how you bring the figure to. So you've designed a character can bend. Now I know some of you guys have already designed really good characters that can do this. So if you can and you want to keep them and you don't want to improve them, I have no problem with that. If you have a character that you don't think can kick a ball or pick a ball up, well, don't do it. Invent a new one. And the character that you already did will inform your new character. You'll be learning. So I'd encourage everybody to try to invent a new character. But that's just me. I was thinking of that wonderful, the student did a really good vampire one as a silhouette. I mean, it's really nicely designed, and yeah, I'd be nearly ashamed not to use it. I just wonder how good he is at picking up a ball, though, because he looked like he was more designed to scare. You got to be careful that your character has to, in a film that's 3 minutes or 30 minutes or 90 minutes, your character's going to, your vampire character is going to do a lot more than just scare people. He's going to maybe think, oh, maybe being a vampire is bad, And so he has to maybe take a less dramatic pose, so you've got to be careful of your poses and your character and your poses. But that's stuff you're going to learn over the years. Why am I telling you about it now? I have no idea. So this guy, this is how you bring them over to the camera. I'm holding the ball, so we know we can hold the ball, and we know where the ball has to be, and we know where he has to be. But of course, he's going to walk into the frame. So he's going to walk in, and whatever it takes. Again, I'm not going to beat you up about this. And he stops. Oh, he's a very strange looking man. So there he is there, with a very long coat, it seems. So we'll just maybe... So the ball comes in. Does he watch the ball coming in? Perhaps he does, I don't know. Why not? Which means he's kind of watching there, and then when it gets down here and here, he's following it again. In this case, it's a he, so maybe it's like this at the end. All right? And it comes in. Okay, but now we know that it stops here where the ball's meant to stop, and he's standing, his right foot is there where his right foot is meant to be, so you know he can bend down and pick it. You don't want him bending down and then shuffling around and taking a step, because it just won't look good. And remember that we have a pathway here. So we're starting down this far down in the frame. You could put an X there too. That's where the ball comes in. The ball lands underneath the tree. It then doesn't clear the bench, and then it comes here. If you want it, if it lobs straight in, you could make a pathway here. Oh, look, it covers, there's a bit of branch here or something here. It covers that. It comes down here, it misses the bench by that much, and then it bounces once, and it's there. So you plan the path of it as well as time it. So I would have noticed there that it comes in here. And I'll make a mark. And I noticed that its first bounce is right by the tree. Actually, I'll probably wing it after that. Maybe even twist it a bit, who knows. But at least I've got a good mark of it coming in. And he'd be watching that. And then he's in the right place to pick it up. So you've all got that, okay? So let me look at what else we have to do. We have to do a close-up, right? So the close-up, I'll get rid of this. Get another sheet of paper. The close-up bar, guys, is, again, I'll just frame it up. Do you notice I'm always framing landscape? I never frame profile. That's kind of a rule of filmmakers. Now, all rules are meant to be broken, as you know. And nowadays, some people are making for phones to look at phones, and a phone is this way. Although most people like to kick their phone around to the side and go this way. So I think landscapes are going to survive the new media. Okay, so, and there's a reason, that's why we go, directors go around like this, because you want to see what it's like in a landscape. And directors do that. They tell you they don't, but they do. And of course we do that when we're doing layouts. So you're looking at your character. Now what I want from your close-up, so the close-up now is not profile, it's direct to camera. You can do 3/4 again if you want to. What I want to see in the profile is an expression. I can't emphasize that. Why else are we cutting to it? Right? So, you know, an expression could be, what the hell is this, you know? Why has it landed out here? Then you can move your eyebrows up and, where's my rubber so I can rub it out? And you can change the mouth. Remember, this could be done by substitution or by manipulation. You know, I've just drawn a very simple figure here. Maybe a hand comes in, you know, and he's going, and then he goes, aha. Oops, get rid of this one as well. And then his little face goes, and maybe the hand gesture moves up as well. Maybe the hand moves up to, aha, you know, I've got an idea, way. You know, so there's kind of like, aha. So the reason why I'm emphasizing it this way is because an expression isn't just somebody going, kapow. You know, it's a process. It's a bit like what I was telling you about with the worst of the worst in the situation with of Toy Story, where they broke the attempt at trying to free the toys. They broke it down into 3 situations: bad, worse, and the worst of the worst. And even when they were on the plane, they broke it down into 3. Trying to get out of the plane, and trying to find another way out of the plane, and then jumping off the plane. So, you know, it's 3. And you should think about that with your character's expression. Can you break it down into 3? So it's just not a basic, simple thing. Okay? So you do a close-up. Now, where do you do the close-ups? Well, you have a choice, he says, trying to find me. So let's look at this again. Here's the little... here's a little storyboard, if you like, of what we have to do. So we start off here, the ball comes in, he's walked in, the ball comes in, he picks it up. Now I have little asterisks here, so you could put it in there. You could go, that's a football, how interesting, I'm in a park, I could kick it. Or maybe you don't want to use it there. He picks it up, he looks to see where he's going to kick it, and you could put the cut in there of him looking where he's going to kick it, and smiling maybe because, hey, I'm going to kick this ball, it makes me happy, or whatever, you know. So it could be in there that it goes. See, I made a little asterisk up there, so you don't know where it's going. But think that its head must move and must make an expression. It's nice to cut in action too. So if he's picked up the ball, you could bring the ball up a little bit further into the frame, so that, you know, he's straightening up, so his head could be straightening up, and the ball could be coming into frame because we're cutting on the action. Cutting on action is a very nice thing to do. So now he drops the ball, so the ball lobs in, it's not very fast, he drops it down onto his foot. You notice that goalkeepers and GAA players and that, they often they drop the ball on their foot, you know, they don't throw it up in the air and then kick it. But if you want to throw it up in the air for dramatic purposes, please do. And then of course the ball comes down and you have to, the foot has to meet. So that's a bit of timing. Does the foot, he says, trying to find a piece of paper, you know, does the foot just come out like that, or, you know, will we get a bit of anticipation from it? Will it come like that? You know, will you lift it back here and then drive it forward to kick it? Now that's a nice thing to be able to do, but it calls for more coordination because you have to hit the ball. But it's a nice way, if you can see, you know, not to just have it just go up and get the ball. You know, that's just a little too easy. Wouldn't it be nice to bend it and get or even a straight leg can go backwards and then forwards to kick the ball. But it'd be nice to get that anticipation that before it kicks the ball, it swings the kicking foot back, so to give more force to the kick. And then, of course, struggling around looking for the storyboard again, the ball just kicks out straight and it goes like a rocket. Why? Because it's got more force with it. So to be in summary, what we have to do is design a background that is suitable, a suitable background. Okay, is it one that's got loads of animation needed? No, I don't think so. You map a path for the ball and you mark it up. What's that one? Is that it here? Where did I do that? Here. So you mark up, so you find little leaves and little corners and things that you can find where the entry point is and the stop point is for the ball. So actually for that ball, I could have put up some blades of grass here, and I know that's where the ball is going to stop, as well as have the X. So you mark it. You design a suitable character. You ask yourself the questions. Can it bend? Very important question. Does it bend or does it fall apart when it bends? Does it pick up? Does it kick? Does it move its head? Does it walk? These are the things you're going to have to do. But remember, the character can be a vampire, a robot, an animal, anything at all. And is it suitable? You know, does your full figure work? And also, can you plus it? Can it do more than just kick a ball? Because you never know, it might want to react more than you realized. You know, maybe it walks in, and when the ball comes in, it goes, wait, what's this ball? Okay, so you mark it in its standing position, and you and does it relate to the ball? In other words, when it tries to pick up the ball, is it going to fall over? So the best way of ensuring that is to have it in its bent position with the ball, bring it to the camera, place it down in the bent position, and then lift it up and take the ball away, and then move him out here, and then have him walk to where all your axes are. And remember, you're always moving them you're moving things like this. This is the ball, and it's coming in. You know, and say, okay, let's forget about this path. Say it's coming in here, and it's going over this sort of leaf thing here. You know, I'm always moving it and taking it away. Click, it's stuck down. These are slow movements. Oh, I'm not really doing it right. Yeah, it's hard to do it with a coin. It's because the coin's so solid. But you're moving in a very gentle, deliberate way. It's like your fingertips are tools, metal tools that you're manipulating your puppet with. And you're very controlled. It's very stuck down. You have a good idea of the path. You've timed it and all that. It won't work to your timing. Cutouts are just like that. They just have a rule. They just take over, you know. But they're charming, so it'll work. Make sure that his head follows the path of the ball. Close-up must have an expression. Try to make that expression work, not just an expression. You don't cut to an expression. The expression sort of opens up more, and then he maybe thinks. Cinema loves thinking people. People looking at somebody think is a thing cinema loves, and an audience loves it. And he thinks, and then goes smiles. Yeah, I'll kick this back. So it's very important that the expression has a movement. And it can be any sort of expression. It can be shock, it can be surprise, it can be thought. But thought is really great. So you might want him to do something after he kicks the ball. An awful lot of people make him fall over. He can fall over, that's great crack, but you won't get marked for it. It's not in the brief. You should remember that. The briefs are important. It's a bit like reading the question in the Leaving Cert. It's important. And what's in the question in the Leaving Cert is the three positions of the football, how this football travels in three different directions, how the person tracks the ball, how the person bends down, and all that stuff. If and then his head falls off after he kicks the ball, that's great crack. I have no problem with it. Okay, so the joins I never really talked about. Some student did a figure with by joining up with threads, and that's very good. The thread should be fairly loose. Don't make it a very tight connection. But it's great if you drop it. You know, if you're in a dark room, because all rostrum rooms are dark when you're shooting this kind of stuff, even digital, and there's nothing worse than dropping pieces and finding them going all over the place. It's happened to me. I had this eye that I couldn't find how to go away and make it again. So if everything's stuck down really well, that's going to stand to you. And there's different ways, you know, Prit. When I used to shoot on acetate and cut out acetate, Prit was really great to shoot because it had this elasticity. Using pins doesn't work. Anything metal, because you'd be shooting professionally with a glass platen that comes down, and a glass platen would cast shadows with a pin. And that's the whole thing. You don't want shadows when you're shooting cutouts, but of course we're going to have shadows because we're not doing it in a professional situation. Listen, I think I've probably said enough and might do questions afterwards. Okay, so I'll come back to you now.